Hey everybody, so today I have another video in the exclusively pumping series on my channel. Today I'm going to be talking all about pumping on the go, like my tips and my advice and also what's in my pump bag. So first I'm just going to start off with the tips. These are things that have definitely helped me and I hope that they can help you guys too. So I would say the first thing that you need to have, like before anything else, is confidence. I remember when I started exclusively pumping, I was like, I feel like this is weird. I was like, people I feel like are generally starting to get the idea that nursing in public is just fine. It's feeding a child, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I feel like pumping out in public is still one of those things that people have a problem with. I don't understand why. Some people can't feed their child through a latch on the breast, so we need to do what we need to do. Also, if someone chooses to pump, that's their own business and it's none of yours. So anyways, I feel like, I don't know, like it's still kind of, I feel like pumping is still kind of one of those taboo things. I feel like it's one of those things that people don't necessarily support all the time. It's very hard finding support. So going out in public and doing it is something I was totally not scared, but like I wasn't comfortable with. But I started talking to Mark about like my feelings when I would have to go out and pump in the car, because I mean, in those first 12 weeks you should be pumping every 2 to 3 hours during the day, and sometimes we had to take trips that were longer than 3 hours, so I had no choice but to pump in the car. Or if I was at like a relative's house or something, I have no problem pumping in their house, but I'm at like public places. But I don't know, like I was just uncomfortable with it, and I talked to Mark and he said, number one, most people don't even like look into anybody else's car. Even if you're parked in a parking lot, most people aren't looking into other people's cars as they're driving by and stuff like that. So like try not to be so self-conscious about it, because people probably aren't paying as much attention to it as you think they are. And also he just told me that, like it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just, that's exactly it. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and you just need to do what you need to do. And it's not like I'm over there like flashing my boobs and like, hey, look at me. Like I'm producing food that my daughter has eaten for the past 11 months. Like I just needed to do it. So the confidence thing wasn't just overnight. It did take me, I feel like, several times pumping out in public, and each time got easier. Each time I was more relaxed. I mean, I still get tensed up sometimes and I feel like people are watching me, but it's always really nice to have Mark with me, because I feel like he kind of distracts me from any feelings that I may have about people watching me or feeling uncomfortable. But yeah, and that kind of leads me into the next part. I would definitely say try to have someone with you. It's 1,000 times easier when you're pumping out in public to have someone helping you. Normally Mark drives everywhere we go, so normally he's already in the driver's seat, and normally he's with me when I'm pumping in the car, and it makes it super easy. So when I get done, I can hand my bottles to him and he can take care of that while I'm trying to cover myself up as fast as possible. So no one's looking at me or anything like that, and I love that. I love that he's such a team player about it, and he helps me, because it's really hard, especially like milk gets stuck in the flange and then it's dripping everywhere. I'm a freak about keeping my car clean, so that really bugs me when it does it. So he's very good at that. He's very good at like getting the flange off and wiping them down and putting the lids on the bottles and stuff like that. Also, another tip is to keep your cup holders clean. Like I said, I'm kind of a freak about keeping my car clean, so my cup holders are always clean, and it's super easy because whether I'm with him or not, or maybe if he's driving while I'm pumping and he can't necessarily help me right away, I can just stick those bottles right into the cup holders next to me, and then I can, work on covering me up and stuff like that, and then I can come back to it. Also, I just find it's kind of nice to just have cup holders to hold the milk, because I sometimes forget my cooler packs and stuff like that, which is something I'll talk about here in a second. But that is definitely something that has helped me a lot. It's just making sure that they're clean and they're available for me to stick the bottles down into. And then, like I said, another thing that I really suggest, I don't always bring one with me. If I'm going to be gone for like 3 or 4 hours, like just right over it, I'm not really too worried about it. However, if we're gonna be out all day or something like that, I definitely bring a cooler pack. My cooler pack of choice is this one by, I think it's by Fisher-Price. Yeah, it's by Fisher-Price. We got it at Babies R Us, I think for like $16, maybe even less. I'm not sure, but it's really, really nice. It's got this top up here, and I don't know if you can see in that, but it's just super, super insulated. It's got this pocket up here. It's got pockets in the front and a zipper, and then it's got two like holders on the side too. It also has a long adjustable strap, which I love. I can't stand that some like insulated bottle things like only have one size strap. That irritates the crap out of me, but I like it because down inside there, I'm not sure if you can see, but it's got these like little elastic bands, and they are perfect for the Dr. Brown standard bottles, which is what I would pump into sometimes. I would bring the Dr. Brown standard bottles if she was with us and I knew she was going to eat, or if I knew we were going to go home and she was going to need to eat right then. So I would bring those with us, and they fit perfectly. Also, the Medulla bottles and the Gerber bottles that I pump into fit perfectly in there, so I know that they're not moving around and stuff like that. And I can like fit a ton of extra stuff. If she's with us, I can fit like, you can fit like 6 Dr. Brown's bottles in here, but normally I bring up to like 4 bottles, and then I can fit food, snacks, whatever you want. But when I got my Medulla tote that I used to be using for my pump, it came with this little cooler pack, which some people might get if you buy the pumps in stores, and it just comes with this actual little ice pack, which is nice. I thought it was kind of silly when I got it, but it's like divoted out to form around the bottles, which is really cool. But I do bring this one sometimes if I'm just bringing my Medulla bottles and she's not with us or something like that. So I definitely recommend that if you're going to be out for longer periods of time, because obviously your milk can go bad, especially if you're in hot weather. I kind of touched on this a little bit, but you're going to want to try to schedule it if you can. You know, like when I was pumping every 2 to 3 hours, there was no way I was just going to go out and like not know what I was doing. Like I needed to plan it. I needed to know when to pump, when I could stop, when I could do this, when, you know, if I need to bring the cooler packs, if I need to do this or whatever. And I just feel like if you have a schedule and you know, and you know, in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, in 2 hours, in 3 hours or whatever, I can pump. It's going to be fine. This is where I'm going to do it. Gonna be good. It's so less stressful on you. Also, I definitely recommend keeping extra pump parts or even just a manual pump in your bag at all times. I've only forgotten my flange twice, but seriously, if you forget the flange, what's the, you know, you can't do anything about pumping. I had to drive all the way home and get those and go back to where I was, which was totally irritating. So I've learned to just keep an extra set of flange, like a whole complete set, in my bag. And then I also have my manual, you'll see when I get into my pump bag, but I have like the lever, or I don't know, whatever you would call it, like the lever and the little connector part in there, because I do have my extra pump parts. I'll explain it here in a second. It's a little confusing talking about it right now, but I just have those in there in case like my pump just stops working for whatever reason. I also have a manual at home in case that happens, or like the electricity goes out, if I were to forget my power plug, things like that. I'm like ready for all things that could go wrong, and it makes you feel better. I just definitely recommend it. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. And then my last tip before I show you guys what's in my pump bag is just to hook up after you've put your seatbelt on. If you hook up and then you try to like like juggle all that stuff going on, it's crazy. So yeah, I definitely recommend hooking up after you've gotten your seatbelt on, so it makes things easier. But I'm just gonna go into my pump bag. Some of this stuff is gonna be familiar to you guys. As you've seen from my pump bag review, this is my pump bag. Isn't she beautiful? She's beautiful, isn't she? Words do not express how much I love my pump bag now. This is amazing. It's the brand EllaAlana, and you can find her Etsy shop down below. I'll link it down there. And I have a full review on this bag too, so I'll link that down there too, in case you're wondering everything about that. So I'm just gonna show you, if you haven't seen the review, I'll kind of show you real quick. It has this flap in the front, and all you do is you unzip it, and then my pump's right here. I keep the hoses off to the side right here, or you could put them over here, but this is where I keep my car adapter. And I love this bag. Like, but this is what the inside looks like. It is super, super roomy. It doesn't have any pockets, which my Medulla bag did have pockets, but I find it's not a problem because I don't keep a ton of stuff in here. I guess I kind of do, but it's all pretty organized. So first thing on top is just my hands-free pumping bra. This is the Simple Wishes. If you are large-chested, I definitely recommend this. It has this extra thing in the middle, if you can see right here. It's just an extender to make it more comfortable for you. Also, the back is Velcro, so you can totally adjust it that way. Totally recommend this bra. Also recommend getting it in black because pink gets ruined easily. Who would have known? Also, I keep 2 bottles in there. I bring 8-ounce bottles just because you never know what's gonna happen. You may be out longer than what you expect, so I always bring the base bottles I can, and these are just the Medulla ones that are 8 ounces. So this is the pumping cover that I actually use. I also have a review and then like a demo of how you could use it all kinds of different ways. It's by Covered Goods. Don't know if you can see that. It's probably not gonna focus because I'm just horrible at this. There you go. But it's by Covered Goods, and the color is, I believe, watercolor, or the pattern, whatever you want to call it. So it's just this big pumping cover. They advertise it as a nursing cover, but you can totally use it as a pumping cover. Obviously, all I do is pump, so that's why I refer to everything as a pumping cover. Yeah, I love it. It's super breathable and everything like that too, so it's not too hot or anything like that. There's nothing I hate more than being hot. So then I have the Medulla quick wipes, I think is what they, quick clean wipes. I use these if I'm not able to rinse out my pump parts. I try to get as much milk as I can out of there, although I try to keep a bottle of water in the car, normally always drinking water anyways, and I just rinse them out, you know, just hold them outside the car, and I just run some water through them. But for like my shields or stuff like that, I just go ahead and wipe them off with this. You just want to be careful though. You want to wait about 15 minutes before you use your pump parts again after you use these. And then here's my spare parts. Like I said, keep everything in here. I ain't playing no games. I ain't risking not being able to pump. But yeah, I definitely recommend this. And then I just shoved them in a sandwich baggie. It works. And then down here, I just have this little pouch that I keep. I don't even know what's in here. Oh, breast pads, storage bags, and a Sharpie. And why I do this is because I don't really leak anymore. Well, I should rephrase that. I didn't used to leak, but now that I'm weaning, I kind of tend to leak a lot. But I just carry these just in case. You never know. I keep the milk storage bags just in case. Like I said, you never know what's going to happen. You might be out longer or whatever. So if I were to fill up the bottles and I need to use them again, I could just dump them into some bags, and then the Sharpie's just to write the date and stuff like that, or just to have a Sharpie in your bag. You never know when you need a Sharpie. Like I said, I like to be prepared for everything. So that's all that I keep in this little pouch. And then down at the bottom, I have some Lanolin. I don't use this to pump with. Repeat, I do not use this to pump with. This is way too thick. It can cause more friction than it can do good. I use this afterwards. Sometimes I go through phases of, you know, my nipples like being sore and stuff from pumping. I don't know, just kind of comes and goes. So I'll just put this on afterwards. And normally by the next time I need to pump, it's all rubbed off. So down at the bottom is just my little manual. Like, it's just the handle, and then this is just the connector part. It was flipped the wrong way. But since I do have the valves and the membranes on here, and also the flange, if I need to use this, I can just take the flange from there and the valve and the membrane and stick it on here. I always keep bottles with me, so this thing's ready to go if I need it. And yeah, that's everything that I keep in my pump bag. Like I said, be fearless, do it in confidence. You'll be just fine. You're doing an amazing thing. Keep it up. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video super helpful, and as always, thanks for watching.